trolls out. Morisco trolls, according to science, according to the scholars of the world, are called black leaders. Anyone in scholarship knows that the word black, there's nothing wrong with it, so don't get it twisted, is an English word coming from Old High German. It has its origin 1100 to 1500, and it actually means pale. It has nothing to do with complexion, has nothing to do with the identity of African peoples. It was a brand system set up by Dutch masters. As a matter of fact, do some research. East Indies, Dutch Indies Company, are we clear? The East Indies, Dutch control roughly at this time close to 95, maybe 96% of Manhattan. Manhattan is this island, all right? And when they refer to the Moors giving up Manhattan for a string of beads, what they mean is that those who are called conversos, and that is the Asiatic people who converted to Constantinianism, hiding behind the word Christianity. That must be understood too. All scholars know that too. And it's only controversial in scholarship because many people have been selling the birthright. Do you understand what I'm saying? Meaning that people who are in the business of taking advantage of our people's ignorance get uncomfortable with this information because it can't be sold. Are we clear? Because it's a birthright. You know, logically, a servant is worthy of his hire, but a birthright cannot be sold or converted to another. And so when you get into these dynamics, people who are compromised will attack this information. But once you get people to a point of scholarship, you can remove the bullshit. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? And so that's another reason I shared the Dungey case, because that's one of the cases that Lincoln did 1855, 5 years before he was president of the corporation. And the issue was a slander case. And Dungey was Portuguese, but understand he was of Moorish descent. And everyone knows, all scholars know, that prior to, say, mainly 1779 specifically, when they started modifying records, but leading up to about 69, they started using the brand systems, introducing them into society. It's called connotative linguistics. And for those who are scholars already know this, but those who are not scholars, every year they have a conference on education. And this is where scholars come around from around the world, and they plan social engineering. Not unlike the Berlin Conference of 1884, 1885 that you saw noted on there. And the Berlin Conference of 1884, 1885 is when the European nations came together to divide up the Moroccan Empire. The Moroccan Empire was divided up amongst the Constantinian nations, disguised as Christian nations, etc., under the guise of the Ottoman Empire. That's the Sardinian, the last vestige of the Moorish Empire. And all scholars know that what people call religion has nothing to do with the bloodline. Are we clear? All these people of Asiatic African descent, and it is known all over the world, are Ahmadiyya, or what you call American or Moors. That's all African people. And before like the modifications under the Whitmore parties, that's where a lot of the focus came from, modifying the literature. With the New York tycoon Horace Greeley from this era. And then when the Whitmore party split, that's when they really started focusing on modifying the literature. And I'm making these points to you because all scholars know this. And I'm only saying this because we know that there's a lot of controversy with our people not really understanding history. They're looking at, they have a tendency by training to look at themselves from the perspective of clubs. Meaning like say for instance, I was assistant minister years ago when I was young in the Nation of Islam. My father was also not in the nation, but my father and my cousins were Jehovah's Witnesses, you know. And people have a tendency to identify themselves with clubs or organizations. Do you understand? Which is a design. When civilized people identify by their pedigree, their bloodline, has nothing to do with other than that. Meaning, like as an example, I have a Manchurian friend who I had to deal with. We were doing some papers because the IRS was coming after his private account. By him being a national, it's not hard for him to understand this. I don't have to debate with him like green people and purple people and orange people. That doesn't deal with civilized people. You don't have that problem when you're dealing with our people because for generations they think that human beings are crayons. So they start talking, you start talking principles of law and civilization. They start talking light skin, orange skin, green girlfriend, and my black uncle, and the great black gods of Egypt. And a scholar knows that they're lying already. But people who are non-scholars, because they're used to hearing these terms, don't know that their social descendancy is cheat terms. And this is another reason why a lot of people who are compromised will not teach law and history together, because it will liberate people. Are we clear? And it is not unlike, this is important also for the babies, to teach them that law and history goes together. All scholars know this, because what we need to do is to dispense information in such a way that it doesn't enslave people to who's presenting the information. Are we clear? For instance, we're transferring information. It doesn't belong to us. It's like a filter, if you understand. We're digging up things that belong to people that were removed from them. Now, scholars know that connotative linguistics was introduced particularly in Asiatic African communities for dissolution of consciousness relative to culture. All scholars know that culture is in the language. This is the reason why a lot of Moriscos and Moranos and Conversos will promote that black thing and then pretend that these people aren't Moors, while at the same time talking about ancient Egypt and ancient Kemet. A scholar knows when a person does that, they're compromised. And then if we're doing it to these babies, what we're doing is setting them up for the next generation of servitude. Now, a person who can't read, who doesn't know language, may not recognize that because they may be emotionally tied to that person who's presenting. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? And they have a tendency to be biased. But it doesn't dawn on them that that person is being set up for what is called this cheat. If you got notes, write that down. It's cheat. Because this is what happens to us. Now, the reason why the brain system was set up, I think one of the things that a lot of the troll scholars refuse to talk about is the connotative linguistics, while knowing it. And they would prefer to debate and create confusion rather than deal with facts and then lay them on the table. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Like this. My brother lives in domiciles in New Paltz, actually in Highland, in New York. And a few years back, I was going up there back and forth, and I was putting an addition on his house. And we had to dig up a cesspool and tram the yard because it was big property. And this guy came past and saw the house because we had built a 5-tier deck around the pool. He had one of them upper ground pools, you know, and it didn't look too good. Anyway, so we did a 5-tier deck and wrapped it around the pool, and it looked pretty good. But anyway, this guy, whose wife, this guy Raj from Sindh, which we know as Hindustan, non-scholars would call them Indians, all right? They're not Indians and we're not Indians. But they know that Moriscos will use those terms because they really work for Rome. Do you understand what I'm saying? You need to understand what goes on the planet. Let me kind of put this a different way. From a scholarship position, if you really want to solve problems, tell the truth.
Right.
Whether you agree with it or not is irrelevant. Tell the truth. 2 and 2 is 4. And you get over here, we're in China, 2 and 2 is 4. Get over here in Sindh, 2 and 2 is 4. All right? So if you get over here and you're making pies 7 times counterclockwise around the cube, right? And you get over here in the Septuaginta and you see the 7 golden candlesticks. The scholars know they mean the same thing. Believers think they got different religions and fighting each other. Are we clear? The scholar can easily solve that by telling the truth, unless they got some other intention. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if they sit back and don't correct that, you already know they're compromised. And I'm telling you that's exactly what takes place in our community. So our people need to stop pointing their finger at that European and start taking these so-called black scholars to task. Because the rest of the civilized world knows that they're full of shit. They're lying. They've been feeding on their own people, pointing their finger at that European and calling him sovereign, which is what white means. As soon as they call that European sovereign, then they get mad when he acts like sovereign. It's like call somebody God, then they act like God, now you're pissed. You want to march all over the place. We're full of crap, and we need to call people to the table. And you start it not by opinion, by simply taking them to 3rd grade etymology. Not college, not high school, 3rd grade etymology degree. And that is what removes any claim that these damn scholars keep on claiming these people to be black. And it has nothing to do with their religions. Are we clear?
Yeah.
They're Canaanite, Moabite. All of these people of Asiatic African descent. Short, they're Moors. Period. Across the planet. Now, because of compromise, fear, treachery, betrayal, they deny their bloodline thinking they're going to get a benefit, meaning they don't want to make Rome mad. You get the point? Because all civilized people know one of the major problems with the Asiatics of North America is that really, because of their egos, they keep on disguising that the European is not their God. But the rest of the civilized world knows that anybody that calls themselves blacks and Negroes, really, Rome is their God. They won't breathe unless he gives them a license. They won't move unless he gives them a permit. They won't make babies unless he sells women to them and sell them to each other and then lie on Jesus and Allah and Moses and everything and then blame all their misery on the devil. Now that's the real truth. And they need to be called to the table and stop their BS Negro stuff and honor their mothers and fathers like other civilized people do and go back to the principles of their ancient mothers and fathers. And then understand that all of the symbols in the so-called religions belong to us. They're not separate. You know, now all scholars know that too. They won't promote that because what they've done, they've taken different sections of the culture, separated them from other sections of the culture and act like we different religions. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? All scholars, true scholars got Bible, Septuaginta, Torah, Tanakh, Uwaspi, etc. The 4 Vedas, etc. All of them. And all of them are rooted in Kabbalistic principles. All of those books are. And when you get these guys coming up talking about their different religions, oh, I'm Muslim, and so therefore my sandwiches don't have jelly on them. They lying their asses off. No, I'm just saying, you know, we need to understand, real scholars know all of those books are Kabbalistic, are we clear? And real scholars don't separate them in the sense of this is my religion, that's somebody else's religion. Do you understand? Those who are doing this got somebody over here calling himself a Jew. Somebody else over here calling himself a Muslim. Somebody calling himself a Muslim. Somebody calling himself a Christian and Buddhist. And the scholars know the root of all that science comes from one source. And this is the reason why you see a lot of true scholars, you don't see them go around wearing a chip on their shoulder, acting like whatever their beliefs are, because they don't deal with beliefs. Beliefs are for control mechanisms for dummies, rats, donkeys, kids, goats, and people who cannot handle reality. Scholars are scientists, and they deal with facts and science. Are we clear? What I just said to you, if we were in a private meeting without general public, and I'm a grand chief, And a man was sitting here, he's a grand dragon of the Kaikos, of the clan. And a brother is sitting over here, he's a rabbi of the rabbinate. And a sister's over here, she's an Asian. And a brother over here, he's a sheikh. There would be no debate whatsoever. And then we get out in the public and they try to act like they don't know. And got people cutting, sticking each other with toothpicks, talking about my version of my God, of my sandwiches and all that. They're full of crap, and then you be called to the table, and I'm telling you, our people do it. Forget about that. Our people have been doing it. So I'm presenting these things to you to appeal to you to use your intelligence and not your emotions, and give you some reference facts. Now, back to point. Raj, who's a Sindh, he had seen the extension that I put in my brother's house, and his wife is an artist. They're up in up there near the university. Let me see, what's that section called? It's in the Newport section, right off exit 18. Anyway, and their house is on a mountain. Their house is like on the side of a mountain, and actually their stream goes through their house, under their house, right? And it's arched or something like that. But anyway, and they had a 2-car garage, and he asked me to make some custom shelves for his library, because there's a rare library, and he wanted me to section a part off for his wife. She's an artist, right? And but we had to go into the hard rock and chisel out to put sump pumps in to control the moisture, all right, because the stream actually goes up the house. But anyway, so Raj asked Al, who's my brother, he said, how come you're cooking, he's the bed? And my brother said, well, because he's national, right? And so Raj said to me, he said, do you know the history here? I said, yeah, I'm pretty good. I know the history here, you know. So I started doing the job, and every time I would go there, around 12 o'clock, he would bring a silver tray out with a red towel, a red, like, very fancy red towel, and a cookie. And there's rare teas that come from Sindh. And every 12 o'clock, they make tea. And then he'd sit me down at the desk, and he'd get one of his rare books, and put it on his tea. He said, tea time. And I drink the tea and go in the rare books. Now, I knew about the Nanda dynasty, the Gupta, and the Mauryan dynasty. I knew about that. But I learned a little bit more because he shared books that come from Sindh. Because they know that we're people Moors, and they're Moors too. But when they come here, they have to play this black game because our people start getting mad at them that they don't want to be black like them. No, I'm serious. So they go along with this stuff, but nobody likes black people because they look at us as traitors, but they won't tell our people to our faces because we can fight real good. We're very sensitive and we're very judgmental. No, I'm serious. I'm really serious. You'd be surprised how many nationals get frustrated because our people keep on claiming to be black and Negroes and monkeys. They don't even know what Negro means monkey. They can't even damn read. Then they're going to tell you about Allah, Yahweh, and everything else, and they're absolutely in disgrace. And I know it's a little sensitive with a lot of our people because they're trained like that. They really think these things are realities, and they think that you're competing with their intelligence when you're really trying to educate them. But the problem that we have is scholars keep on promoting it. That's where the problem comes from. Are we clear? That's where the problem really comes from. But anyway, so he used to give me rare books, and his wife used to, he gave me a couple of books too, that are not printed here. And also with Rick, the Chinese, when the IRS was coming after his, and I think you remember that, when the IRS was coming after his, he has a medical business. And they were coming at his private account and his business. And so he knows the real history, so it ain't even a debate, you know. So he already knows about the ordinance of 1787, which set the formation of the operations of government here in the Northwest Territories. That's why it's called the Northwest Ordinance, because it's Northwest Africa. And so we just wrote a letter to the IRS, no big deal. And they wrote the letter back, said, According to your information, we agree you're not liable to taxes. Well, we kind of understood that. But I didn't have to sit here and argue with him whether he's a light-skinned or dark-skinned yellow guy, because they ain't going to go there. You get with our people and they start saying, well, should I be black or more? You know, stop the argument, stop the conversation, because it's over. Because they're off the political platform. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? And the fact that scholars can fix this thing very easily. It has nothing to do with whether they're Muslim, Yahudi, atheist. It has nothing to do with belief. It's bloodline and pedigree. And when you're off that platform, you have no legal protections whatsoever. And this is what's been happening to our people. Because they're off the covenant. Because the covenant that protects the humans in international law are called constitutions and treaties. And because we refuse to honor our mothers and fathers, we have no protection. And then the Europeans claim on our states, because most of our people buy and sell with the mark or the number of this European's name, claiming to be Christians, which is really Constantinians. People who claim to be Christians are really secretly Constantinians, Pope Constantine. And they just use the word Jesus as a password to get people to put their guard down. Then they rob them and murder them. And it's never been different. This is not something that's not known by scholars. You know, and the Khazarians will go around claiming to be Jews and they're not Jews. They made up that word, but they're not Yahudi. We're Yahudi, all right? And yes. And so they put their yarmulkes on and stuff and act like they're, you know, Yahudi. They just took over the Yetta when they ran the Moors out of Spain, that's all. They just took over your wealthy area. And the word Yetta is converted in the North Gate as Geta. That's totally related. In other words, you've been stripped. Now they call it Geta. But Geta is actually the wealthy. Our people really need to know this. They don't know their bloodline. They don't know their history. And then they get caught up in beliefs and start debating with each other. There is no debate. There's only fixing to do. But anyway, so back to the Dungy case. So the Dungy case is a slander case of 1855, and the distinctions made between the brand system that's used for his cheating and the fact that he was Moor. And logically, the European lost. His name was Joseph Spencer, and he lost the suit. And the distinction was made that the brother was Moor, and then they, logically couldn't kill the marriage, steal his estate, and run him out of Illinois. And all scholars know that, but they stay away from that stuff because they got these black agendas. Now, keep this in mind, and this is very important, particularly for sisters, to make sure they protect the children. Because a lot of brothers and scholars know this stuff, but they won't talk to the sisters because they want to play this dominant game. Because they know that once the sisters get together, this shit's over. Right. Because they ain't going for it. No, it's the truth. It's the truth. Yeah. So, it's this ridiculous power play that they keep on doing. Basic etymology. Now, I'm going to go with this. 8 parts of speech. The parts of speech in language is just like the matrix, which means the mother, the womb, the origin, the seed, the ovum, the egg, the life. All scholars know that whenever you're defining a word, because culture is in the language, you go to its mother. How do you go to its mother? It's called the etymon. E-T, right? Y-M-O-N. Etymon. The science is etymology. The truth is etymon. This is scholarship all over the world. Keep this in mind. So like if I'm looking at any word, how do I as a scholar, if I'm doing research and cross-reference in different time periods, I simply go to the etymology and I look at the timeline for the word and its transfer into whatever language that I'm using. This is all over the world, keep this in mind. So the first thing you do is you see the brackets, like as an example, like if a scholar is trying to tell these babies that they're black, and then I'm saying that they're not, and then they're debating, let's debate and all that stuff, right? Which you like to do, which designed to divert. Simply go to elementary dictionary and say, find the etymon. And then you see the etymon is like ME. So then ME means Middle English. You go to the timeline, 1100 to 1500. All scholars know this, right? So let's use common sense. So if the word don't go past 1100, a scholar knows that there ain't no such thing as some ancient black gods of Egypt. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? It's no different than us sitting up here having a discussion in the deepness of blackness of the Kabbalistic universe, talking about Tutankhamun had an iPhone. And the only reason he couldn't call you is because he couldn't find the plug and the battery ran out. And they get away with that with people who don't know etymology. You can't get away with that stuff with a scholar. But they've been getting away with it with our people because they can't read. And our people don't know they can't read. You see, they think that pronouncing words is reading. Looking at books is reading. No, etymology is reading. Because that's the science of reading. The capacity to look at a word and to regurgitate its mother, its meaning. It always is what its mother gave it birth at. It never changes. This is the reason why people can go into communities that are called black communities, sell them a dead pledge called a mortgage, means dead pledge, and then come back 2 years later and gentrify the community, and they sitting around talking about they're spiritual. They're full of crap. And we need to stop the BS and start solving some problems. And stop lying to the coming generations, putting them under the black codes, and then complaining because they suffer from the black codes. This stuff is so disgusting. I'm telling you, this is why a lot of people from other nation states, Asiatic Africans, they'll come in the community, they'll set business with you. Don't see them moving with us because we're not trustworthy. And I'm not saying that to knock us, I'm saying it because if we don't tell the truth, we're not going to fix this stuff. If we keep on letting our ego be in front of solutions just because of our pride, because we've been played and we've been playing and don't want to admit it, we can't let that continue. You understand? You can't keep inviting your cousin to the party at dinner and he likes to fart all the time. It just can't happen. No, I'm just serious. It can't happen. We can't continue to allow scholars to keep promoting these black codes, and then our people are suffering from the black codes, but they won't show them the black codes, they won't read the black codes, and understand it's a control mechanism. It has nothing to do with bloodline. It's for its cheating purposes. And as soon as you agree to be under the brand system, that gives the corporate state allowance to cheat all estate from you. That's fact. Not mystery, that's fact. We need to stop that. Are we clear? All right, so first you go to the etymon, then you put a timeline on it, then you separate what's called denotation from connotation, then you can break down any legal document, you can cross-reference other scholars, because this is what scholars really do, but they won't teach the people who they have following them because they might challenge them. Are we clear? And then find out some of them are compromised. Are we clear?
So how do we resolve?
Never say it again.
How do we resolve the issue?
By teaching, which is what I'm doing. You know, like one of the things, hey, Sabir, one of the things I want to make sure that we do, and when you do the next one, we're going to do a basic 3rd grade etymon degree, complete.
That's why we're trying to start this now.
No, I'm just telling you complete.
Yeah.
Because every once in a while we drop this at people because we have a short period of time to talk. They hear it as somewhat interesting, but they don't exactly get it. But if you understood what I just said to you, you would recognize operatives amongst you.
Yeah.
You know how, like you said, once you give people keys, they can see who the vampires are?
Right.
You know how you turn the light, everybody going to the vampires party, right? So we chilling, we going to the vampires party, and then one of y'all get the smart idea to light the candle. Well, let's light the candles. Vampire told, no, don't light the candles, don't light the candles. You light the candles and see who the vampires are. You seriously, if you teach our people basic, we ain't talking about serious scholarship, basic 3rd grade etymon degree, you dump most of your so-called black scholars immediately, and the others, they be hanging from the next light pole because you recognize they've been working from Rome all the time. But not knowing it, you never suspect it because they make you feel good, like they're doing something for you, like they're really interested in you. And they got a 501c3 Skull and Bones agreement getting paid off in the background to keep this black thing going that makes our people non-descendable at all. So it don't matter what they do, how beautifully they orate. You put that black coat out there, you have no rights. By your own confession and agreement. It is no different than if someone from Manchuria or Chinese go around the civilized world and you're dealing with an estate issue or real lawful issue, and you start talking about he's a light-skinned yellow guy, at that point international law doesn't protect him. That wouldn't be hard for you to understand. But yet our people don't understand that people of Morris descent can't go around claiming to be black and have rights. They don't go together. Mm-hmm. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? But because they think that's a reality, they agree to be that, and then they come under the black codes down and mad. It's called consent. Do you understand? And a principle, Kabbalistic principle says, honor your mothers and your fathers that your days may be long upon the earth land which the Lord thy God has given thee. Dishonor is when you claim to be another man's name, another man's creed, and that's what we've been doing, and we need to be pulled to the table on that. We really do.
That makes sense to me, because why should we be, take on these names that other people have given us, like Negro?
They were pushed on us, but the scholars are the ones who should cleanse it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As an example, if I'm a rabbinate, right? Yahudi, right? And I'm that too, So therefore, I go to a Torah, Tanakh, Pentateuch, and I go to the ancient Kabbalistic principles because they're universal.
Right.
Teach the principles. You don't get caught up in what club you belong. Teach the principles. The principles are universal. The beliefs are frauds. A lot of people are uncomfortable with that, but I'm telling you the absolute truth. Belief systems are for mind control. All belief systems are for mind control. If you get a bunch of people and they start talking about what their beliefs are, they're under mind control.
Yeah.
If you start talking about Kabbalistic facts, mathematics, cosmogony, now you're dealing with somebody who knows religion. And this is why the clash always takes place. When you have somebody talking about what their beliefs are, trying to compete with someone who's talking about the mathematical science, from which those beliefs are drawn for mental midgets. Meaning, rather than deal with the facts, they'll take ideas from the mathematical, cosmological facts of true religion, and they'll make up stories, and then call that the truth. Those mind control. As an example, Big Dipper, right? Big Dipper cosmogony, location. The you would call sort of like the position in the heavens from the position of the earth. You would call that astronomy, etc. Right? So the Big Dippers for little children, that would be Santa Claus's sleigh. But when that child grows up, they're not supposed to think that anymore. The parents will tell them that's really the Big Dipper. You understand? 4th of July, one of our biggest holidays. For the non-scholar, they talk about Europeans and conquering the North Territories, North America, for the so-called Independence Day. For the scholar, they know that's the heliacal rising of Sirius behind the sun. Ancient holiday belongs to us. A non-scholar said, that's the white man's holiday. Sure, but we're the white man. It's a legal status. And people understood. All scholars know it's a legal status. COINTELPRO keep on telling people's skin complexion. Now, a scholar knows that that person who claims to be a scholar is either converso, or Morisco, Morano, converso, skull and bones pale. It ain't, and there is no gray area. There is no gray area. Now, I say that absolute, but I give you reference so that you can see it for yourself. And I only use that term to support what I'm presenting to you, because if we don't fix that, we will continue to do just what you keep seeing. Just like you can see, we come up Harlem, etc. They've been gentrifying Harlem just like they've been gentrifying Philly. Now, with all these spiritual people, how's this bullshit keep going on? For all these people talking, the pyramids and see the man, the blackness, the pyramids and shit. And then in the mathematical meaning of the stars of heaven and shit. You can't even do the damn contract. No, we need. Let's get real. Let's get real. We keep talking about the ancient and can't handle the present. I think that's called a violation. Just like the Bible Septuaginta, Tanakh says, how dare you claim the love of God that you do not see, and love not your brothers and sisters who you see every day. Likewise, in the common law, how dare you claim about the laws of heaven while not knowing the laws of earth upon which you stand? That's where common law comes from. It comes from those principles. And these people always talk about ancient God. That's Ikuta. That's where you get Ptah from. And all scholars know Egypt is Ikuta. And that's the capital dominion of the Moroccan Empire before European colonial operations. That's why you see Moors in all of these books. And that's why you see black scholars stay away from these books. Why? Because they can't promote the black paradigm, and they won't get their 501c3 kickback in the back pocket, pretending that these people are crayons. Are we clear? That's cheap. ESCHEAT. That's what happens to our people every day. It ain't prejudice, it's called cheat. That's exactly what it is.
Can you spell it again?
ESCHEAT. Scholars know that that's what's happening to our people. Non-scholars and COINTELPRO operators sit around and talk about racism and prejudice. Scholar knows that race is the species. It's called the human species, is the race. Duh. And the human species is broken up to extended families called nations. Duh. Nationalities. All over the planet. It's not new stuff. You talk to these people about nationality and start talking about what color they are. No, serious, and they've been allowed to get away with this, destroying the next generation, then complaining because of the condition. And we let it go because that's my cousin type thing, knowing that they know better. But what our people in general are not aware of is the seriousness of the matter. Are we clear?
Yes.
So let me give a rundown real quick, and I'll release the floor to Sabir. And I also want to give him a hand for keeping up the consistent work for flying around the country, keeping on and trying to uplift the people, and also exposing them to scholarship. This is scholarship. It has nothing to do with belief. See, a scholar deals with research and knowledge, doesn't deal with what club they belong to. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Anyway, now, I'm giving you a real synopsis of the politics. This is the real politics here, so that you can understand the politics. Abraham Lincoln, of course you already know about the Dungy case. Abraham Lincoln, being a member of the barristers of England, according to Muslim law, could not hold office in the United States. The United States proper, the republic that was set up between the Muslims and the Christians to stop the hundreds of years wars between the Muslims and the Christians. Are we clear? This is world politics. World politics, are we clear? So when you're talking about Muslims, you're talking about Muslim and Yahudi. In common language, you say Muslims and Jews. That's us. All right, that's loosely, but that's not proper. It's Muslims and Yahudi. All right, so with the Inquisition against the Muslims and Yahudi, which they will write as Muslims and Jews, which is the attack of the Constantinians on the Moors. Are we clear? So when they talking about Moors, they talk about Muslims and Jews. They're not talking about Muslims and not Jews. They talk Muslims and Jews. Are we clear? So when you talk about Moors, you're talking about Muslims and Jews. That's the bloodline. All right? Their form of structure, of what you would call structure of cosmogony, can be called Judaism and can be called Islam. But they're all Moors, are we clear? That must be clear. Bloodline. Including atheists. Are we clear? All right. Now, Lincoln could not hold office according to Muslim law, because the American Constitution comes from Muslim law, and Obama shared that with you all when they went before the delegates of the world, when they had the conference, and then Michelle went to the Alhambra, and Al-Andalusia, which you call later Spain, after Isabella and Ferdinand merged their kingdoms, Aragon and Castile. But let's come to date. After the Caliphate's palace fell in Granada, particularly in 1492, this is why 1492 is used by scholars as the axis year between what is called Old World History and New World History. What they really mean is the old Muslim world and the Constantinian world under Christianity. Are we clear? So 1492 is used by scholars on the whole planet as that axis. Are we clear? All right. Now, Boniface and the Bishopric of Rome set up what's called a global estate trust. Write that down. A global estate trust. And that global estate trust is mitigated or administered just like when we come together and you're a council of bishopric, you would be administrators under what is called Roman
Moors are related
Curia.
to
Write that down. Roman
Moor
Curia.
civilization.
Now we're talking real politics, you all. So if you're going to talk about the problems of these people here in North America that think human beings are crayons and don't tell them the origin of their problems, there's two things. One, you're lying your ass off. Two, you're hiding history. Three,
Yep.
you're clearly compromised.
Yep.
Because these are facts that cannot be avoided. Are we clear? Anybody that does research knows this. A non-scholar knows this. So scholars, when they keep playing these religious games with our people and act like they don't know this information, that just because certain conscious Moors are putting it out, acting like this is a Moorish idea or some kind of Moorish belief. No, these are facts that's known by scholarship. We're only clashing with people who've been hiding this information, pretending not to know it. I don't let them get away with pretending they don't know, because all scholars know this. You know, that's like me, I'm a house doctor, right? That's like me building a wall and stuff, and then she's a contractor too, right? And then you hire me to fix your door, and then you say, well, if you didn't bring your tools, Todd, you guys, here's the saw. And I say, oh, I ain't into that. You already know I can't be a contractor. Well, I don't know about hammers and stuff. You know, what do you mean? You know, and likewise, any scholar knows that line. That's rules of reading. Are we clear? So, Global Estate Trust was set up. That's what the administration of what you call world conquest comes under. Connotative linguistics, distinguished from denotation, deliberately introduced into conquered people's societies. Are we clear?
Say that again.
Connotative linguistics, distinguished from denotation, deliberately introduced into conquered people's societies for control purposes. Are we clear? All scholars know this, not just us. All scholars know this, so therefore all scholars always look out for these things because you recognize that that's part of the tools. When you know that somebody's doing something corrupt, you study what the tools that they're using.
Right.
It's called connotative linguistics. This is the reason why the Europeans boldly, sometimes boast and say, don't worry about them little pickaninnies. They will never compete because they can't read. And their lazy ass parents won't. Just give them a 40, pack of cigarettes, and some drugs, and they happy. And then give them a Bible. Now, that's how they talk amongst each other, but they said to us, now we all like this. And they be telling the truth most of the time. Because that's how we've been allowed, that's how we've been rolling. And we got to admit that if we're going to change things, we're going to have to change things. That Roman ain't going to change. So they set up that Global Estate Trust, there's a Sister QV Trust, and then systematically they incremented operations. Whether you deal with it, CESTUI. Sister Q. Q, that's QUEVIE, trust. And this is whether they're using the marriage certificates under the papacy that claims the eggs in the womb. Late with Delano Roosevelt, the latest one, after the last one crashed, was the birth certificate. The Social Security number, the red numbers, Q6 that they call it that. The driver's license, all of these are entries into the Sister QV Trust, and this is done by corporate operatives, members of the Roman Curia, who are politicians and your local reverends, imams, and rabbis who work for Rome. I don't care what religion they claim. See, that's for the front. That's the front for the people. In secret, all them suckers is working for Rome. Are we clear?
knowingly or
All of them suckers is working for Rome, and the ones that don't, they get together and murder them.
Karen McGee.
It is no different than all our people thinking our brothers loving their people so much in their blackness and everything. And Malcolm went over there making highs with that white and black stuff. And that French Muslim school, don't come up with that white and black stuff. A lot of Europeans know more Islam than you'll ever know. To you, Maghrib is Wednesday Salat. Civilized people know that Maghrib is Morocco, the most extreme west. You left home, brother. That's the real reason they murdered Malcolm. How come the scholars won't say that? Kind of sensitive, isn't it? But it's known.
See, that's always puzzling me.
Say it again.
Something always puzzles me.
What's that?
You're here teaching fantastic knowledge, but we have to go back to the etymology, letting us know
Etymology.
a lot of us don't know whether we black or white or blue or brown or nigger.
Now, this is
Now,
again,
once you're able to break that down, we ain't gotta sit and debate with each other.
I got it right here, Todd.
Again, if I had a plug here, I would set up my projector and put it on the board. If I had a media projector, I could show you. This is basic stuff. See, this is what concerns me. And this is why I've been coming up here for years.
I have to understand.
This is why I've been coming up here for years.
Am I black? When I come to school back, I was teaching, hey.
Let's be clear. Is it not years that we've been taking people from all books, showing them that white and black
Yes, we have.
legal titles are legal statuses? Scholars already know this. Now, if we're teaching these babies, we got to make that emphasis to them. Do you understand? But scholars already know these rules.
Yes, they do.
Because they're pretending they don't know these rules. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because it doesn't fit their club. Not because they don't know it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because they got an agenda to protect their club.
Peace.
They're protecting the images
peace.
of their leader guys, who they know are lying their asses off at the expense of their own people and then blaming the European. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, what we have to start doing is not only correcting our people, but correcting scholars because they have been misleading the people. Now, that's true. And this is unfortunate, and I've always said this for years. It's like they write a book, The Miseducation of the Negro, when the title itself is part of that miseducation. Because the scholar knows what that says is the miseducation of the monkey. That's what it means. So then get our people to agree to be Negroes, then they're outside the human family, then they wonder why they ain't got human rights. Then they want to march all over the place and disturb the peace when they need to honor their mothers and their fathers. It's all they need to do. But they don't want to be themselves because they're scared and they're punked out. Meanwhile, they go around the world murdering women and children, keep this Roman in power. Then they want to march all over the place when they get mistreated. They're full of shit and need to be called to the table. Anyway, let me go you with that. But this is really what's happening. So all corporate operatives, every day, as an example, when you receive at the address, not your address, the address numerated that's on the lots that you're calling houses, and it's called a bill. Understand that those bills are already paid. They're really statements of account. And it's been going on forever. Why do these black leaders don't go with this kind of stuff? Because they can't play the black game because they've been part of the problem.
Yep.
So they'll talk about what in ancient Egypt, like, see, because Tutankhamun's cousin, see, because his sister, she was slamming because it kind of looked like you and stuff, you know what I'm saying? And oh man, that's deep, man. What about your cousin living on the street here? Why can't you tell me something about him?
Oh, we coming at everybody. It's just the beginning. We coming at everybody. Believe that.
I'm really not. My point is, though many of us are ancient, we know that our bodies are newer, but the spirit is not new. There's very few new spirits here. But we need to solve the problems of humanity on the planet now.
Yes.
I'm loving my brothers and sisters, but I ain't fired up about what Brother Tutankhamun.
Yeah,
like
D. I
you
wish
were
people
saying.
go support Sabir Bay Radio.
Anyway, you know what I'm
Gmail.com.
saying?
Sabir Bay Radio.
I'm worried about these children getting
gmail.com.
beat
Go
up
support.
in
I'm
the
giving y'all it live.
But I'm not dismissing that. Do you understand what I'm saying here? And all I'm saying is, let's start dealing with things that fix things today.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
That make it that these babies that are asleep with her mother are not subject to the nigger black codes that we've been bitching and complaining about marching on. Yes.
Yeah,
Not that
Crystal,
they
tell
don't need to
everybody,
know
please
about
go
Tutankhamun.
donate.
Amun Ra, he cooked up the Great Pyramids. They can't even build a house. Let's not get into the pyramids.
He said they can't even build a
No,
house.
seriously,
That's
but
real.
I'm not dismissing that. You understand what I'm saying to you? So anyway, and I'm gonna drop this. Anyway, so me and Sandy went to the store the other day, get some supplies. Because I'm remodeling her house, right? She bought a shelf. She walked in the shelf, went to the real estate, walked in the shelf, walked in the place. Oh, God, I mean, this ripped. And I said, don't have interest. And she went, oh. Right? So when we left, I said, get it. Now put it together. Don't get a mortgage. Right? So when we went to Depot, we buying materials, tax card, no taxes. Already, just in 1 week, we saved over about 12 to 1,500 notes just in tax alone. That belongs to all of our people. That ain't no Morris thing. That's their right. Why do these guys won't tell them that? Because they'll have to admit what Noble Drawley did, and they don't want to admit what he did because it doesn't support their black organization that got a 501c3 agreement in the background that the followers don't know about. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? You need to get off these egos and start fixing problems. Are we clear? All right, I'm gonna let you go. Thank you for coming here. Out of darkness,
Hey.
go ahead.
Any questions real quick?
One question, yes. Regarding the Moors are carrying European names, surnames, right?
What is-
Would you say that the heads of government and besides the United States and
Oh. Let's make this very clear to all of you. Make this very clear to all of you. And this is important. We're gonna talk again. I'll call you and we'll talk.
We're going to try to
Matter of fact, I'm
set
sending
this
some
up
stuff.
at least once a month.
This is what's happening. All right, here's my family. Yahudi. I'm Yahudi too. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? I don't separate from him.
Nope.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you? That's my family. And they come at him, I'm coming at them. I'm gonna come at them with knowledge, not with emotionalism.
That's right, sir.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Todd, I just went through that in Detroit. I
Yeah.
sat with two of Dr. York's people in Detroit in a bar. And it was weird because I said, brother, I'm your brother. I never met these guys. I said, but I'm your brother. You know, we're one. When I went to the mosque in Houston, I was with my brothers. When I went to Chicago, I was with the Nation of Islam, which was my brothers. Like he said, let's bring the knowledge to our people.
Yeah.
They're looking for this. Trust me, they're looking for it. There's just so much stuff going on that people are saying, well, what about these Moors? What about this people? What about this?
Can I say that in addition to what he's saying? This is the deal. Now, I used to be assistant minister in the Nation of Islam. My advantage and also problematic with me growing up is my father was a reader. I had my own library at the age of 7 and a half. So books are not unfamiliar to me. You know, so I was a scholar by default, not by purpose. You understand what I'm saying? No.
I didn't break it down.
So, in the nation, one of the questions in the actual facts was, what is a Mason? The answer, a Mason is a Muslim son. They say Muslim son, a Muslim son. So I did research, led me to the Renaissance. What he was doing gave us an added lesson, Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave an added lesson and sent you right to Moorish history. And then when you get in the great circle, that information ain't hidden. But when they in front of believers, they talking black. Muhammad Ali is one of my best friends. I have pictures of him holding my son on my porch. Joe Tex, all them guys, I know all them guys. You understand what I'm saying to you? When we're just like this, they don't talk that stupid black crap. And then when you get around believers, everybody talking about believers and stuff. And I'm telling you honestly, It's part of why I left. Because I saw a line that I felt uncomfortable with. I'm serious. You know, and our people don't know they're being played. And then if you come out, then everybody wants to hurt you. You understand what I'm saying to you? And I can't wear two faces and be comfortable. I'm ugly, but I can't wear two faces. You understand what I'm saying? I can't do that. And the other thing, I'm serious. This really irks me, but I'm patient with it. Is that a lot of things we talk about, almost any one of these scholars that you've seen on that film and other films, in private, no debate.
None.
Then they get out in public and they start that black stuff. You see, well, here's that Moorish thing, like they ain't Moors.
Talk about it.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
I get inbox.
You can take them to a grade school dictionary and show them that these people are Moors. A grade school, we're not talking scholarship, a grade school dictionary. We ain't talking about deep scholarship. And show that these people of African descent, all of them, men, women, and children, any of them with dark melanated skin are Moors. Now, let me drop this and let you go. 1861. 1860, Lincoln could not run for president of the order because he was a member of the bar. And that is against fatwa, Muslim law. Because the United States is founded on Muslim law, and you need to know that history today, together. And particularly for the sisters, since they always show these little pictures, movies for the little children, Pocahontas, and all that stuff. Pocahontas is Mataoka. I can show you documents that they read into the records in the Senate of the United States. She's Muslim. How many of our people know that? They say, she's Indian, worshiping trees and shit in the woods. No, she was Muslim. And the potentials. Now, scholars know that too. Do you understand what I'm saying? Why do they stay away from that? Because they want people to think that these people here on the land ain't got nothing to do with the ancient culture. You can go in all of our, in Lower Egypt, which is Kentucky and Tennessee, and dig up artifacts that got Hebrew letters in Hebrew alphabet. The false scholars call Hebrew. The Hebrew alphabet. That's your stuff here, older than on that side. How come they stay away from that? Same thing in the Grand Canyon. Older than it is on that side. The largest pyramid in the world, Mexico City, they tore it down. It was so big that it made cities with it. Anyway, let's go back. Lincoln recognized that they were using him to undermine the republic because he could not run for president of the order. Are we clear? So they ran him for president on the platform of the United States Service Corporation that is registered in France by Benjamin Franklin, 1754. Are we clear? This is your politics. Keep this in your mind. All scholars know this. They stay away from it because they can't support the black game. Because the European, they won't give, the corporation won't give them little kickback things. All right. He recognized that they were using to undermine the republic. 1860, he bankrupted the United States Service Corporation. Corporation, not country. Are we clear?
Clear.
All right. That bankrupted it. Are we clear? Ulysses Grant later become freer. He modified the Naturalization Act of 1790 to 1870, and this is when the Europeans took under the noble title of white people under the Whiggamore Party. Are we clear? This is known by all scholars. Are we clear? Prior to 1854, the Europeans here in the Western Hemisphere were not called white people. Are we clear?
Yep.
This is documented. Are we clear? So when scholars go back and talk about and the ancient white guys in Egypt and ancient black guys, all true scholars know they're lying their asses off. Europeans weren't called white people until 1854. That's what the Mummers Parade in Philadelphia is all about. That's why they assemble at 6th and Moore Street, symbolically. Are we clear? That's right, they used to do what they call blackface. They put tar on their face and stuff like that. And that stopped under the good administration. Now, so 1860, Lincoln bankrupted that United States Service Corporation. That lived until 1913. Then Noble Drew Ali came along and commanded the Queen of England, because you already know the secret treaty of Verona, the 3 stars that you see in Washington right now, and George Washington's shield, you'll see 3 stars and 2 bars. That first star is the Vatican. Second star is District of London, Westminster, I'll be clear, specifically, not London proper. Third star, Washington, D.C. Philadelphia is the Capitolium of the United States, still, right to this day. Washington is the secret Vatican Jesuit order for the war machine. And it's not the capital of the United States proper. It's the capital of the United States Corporation Company that Lincoln bankrupted in 1860, registered in France. It is an imposter government. Are we clear? Are we clear?
Yeah.
Now, 1913, Drew Ali set up the old Canaanite temple for the restoration of the lost estate of the Yahudi and Moors. That's why in Harlem, you'll see your history, those who know the history, you'll see Moorish temples and Jewish temples. Are we clear? All of them is Moors. Now they have fiduciary duty to honor the treaties and the Constitution. So what happened is that crashed that United States. And so Woodrow Wilson met with the Jesuits and European bankers on the secret treaty of Verona on Jekyll Island off the coast of Georgia, and sold the government, the residues of the government, and then pledged the people and their estates to the bankers through the Jesuit order under the Roman Curia to the Vatican. Are we clear? This is what's going on. Scholars know this, so rather than tell you this truth, they'll start talking about they don't like your skin and they're racist, and we need to march about it. A real scholar knows that whoever do that is full of shit. They just diverted you. A person who don't know the history think that person means them well. And this is what happens in our community. Are we clear? And then they have Negro rallies. Keep you busy while you're getting raped. Are we clear? Meanwhile, they're getting paid off and back, looking innocent. And then the misery, they point to the European and call him the great white father. They won't say great white father, they just say white man. See, because if they say what they really mean, great white father, then it becomes obvious, so they'll just say white man. And then white man, he's a sovereign now, because the heirs just called him a sovereign. So if the heirs call him a sovereign, he's justified, isn't he? Isn't he? Just because they can't damn read that, is that on him or them? If they know God's and Allah, and Moses and Yahweh's, then they should know this, shouldn't they? Doesn't that make like common sense? They know all this stuff. They know, you can make a cake. What about cookies sometime? Get the point? So 1913, it crashed that one. They set up a new one. There's a private corporation in Puerto Rico. Are we clear? Yes. 1925, Noble Drew Ali registered the Moorish Holy Temple of Science as a civic organization to teach strict government and civics. Marcus Garvey taught civics and government structure. Marcus and Mosiah Garvey, and they worked together. The Europeans countered that because that crashed that one again. So 1925, they registered again in Florida. And these are the registration of the United States Service Corporation that I passed out to you all before when I used to come across it on the room over there. To show you their direct papers, their corporation papers. How come the so-called black leaders stay away from that? Because those corporations are funding their black organizations with kickbacks. Do you understand? Do you understand? So they try to act like this information is a Moorish thing. Do you understand what I'm saying? This involves all of you. Do you understand? Every one of them. Now, so that one lived. So that's 1913, crashed. 1933. So Woodrow Wilson, they got rid of Drew Ali in 29, but it crashed anyway. And so 1933, House Joint Resolution 192, 73rd Congress in session, June the 5th, 1933, they used all the birth certificates for the eggs that did hatch as bonds registered on Water Street right here in New York, and put on the stock market, and that's where you get your, what they call U.S. Treasury bonds and the derivatives. And since the Civil War, all of your major financial instruments, are based on defeated Moors who are branded Negro, Black, Colored, Latino, and Indians, all of which they're not. And that's been back in U.S. government debt since the Civil War. That's known by all scholars. Why do they stay away from that? Because them corporations been giving them 501c3 kickbacks to keep them going. Now, that's why they try to act like this is a Moorish thing and they black. We're all Moors. You just got some of us who compromised. Are we clear? That's your politics.
Listen, real quick, Nabi just kind of told me that we got a great squad. Like squads was on the store, they had like 2 hours. But we're gonna try to actually do this, you know, like once a month. You know, if I can make it back here, if Todd get up here, we're gonna try to do this like once a month. Because a lot of stuff do need to be cleared up. A lot really need to be cleared up. And like I said, I went on the ground and walked away from a lot. Because Todd can tell you, it got out of hand. It got straight out of hand. So when you hear people start talking about selling packages for $2,500, I'm for real. He knows that.
Y'all know, and y'all know, those who've been around, when we started coming up here, 9 years ago, on 125th, and they asked us to come, it was around 15 different groups, and they were selling stuff that we had given people years ago from the round table freely, and they were selling stuff over here from $2,500 to $3,600 and getting it. And then when we started doing the school over here, the Heritage School, they started dying out because we started giving people information. All you gotta do is educate.
That's what I gotta do. Yeah, that's what I gotta do. Educate.
They'll interest themselves.
Todd, we bought a book. Johan and I were laughing, and I did a YouTube Periscope one. A book we called Credit Collection Law book. We bought it for $100. Someone took half of the book and started charging people $200 for the book. This is how crazy it is. So what happened? We walked away. I walked away. And every time I walk away, what do you tell me, Todd? Every time
Look out for the babies.
Every time I say I want to walk away, he always get on me and say you can't give up, you got to keep going. It's frustrating. Huh?
You always took care of the babies.
He always say that, but that's why I don't walk away because of them. Because Todd will tell me don't walk away. It got that crazy out here. Now you see what's happening in Harlem. I was just down at the Whole Foods. I thought it was White Lives Matter. I went in there, I said, they got a Whole Foods down this month? I mean, it was Harlem is gone.
Yeah.
Like you said, where's all the spiritual?
Yeah, they're gentrifying.
It's over. Huh?
It's done.
Yeah,
They what?
The Church of Scientology.
Oh, it's gone. Couple more years, it's done. So it's done. And all the money they gave these people, it's done.
Let's be honest, y'all. Let's be honest. When you look around in North America, there's probably no particular body of people that got as many churches, mosques, and synagogues and temples than we. With bars and the match across the street. Right? And let's be honest, for the sake of these babies, if we're so damn spiritual, why can't we fix anything?
Exactly.
At what point do we have to admit that whatever we've been doing, either we don't understand it, or we're wrong as hell. It can't be something else. You can't be the only one that runs the cash register and your shit's always wrong. And everybody's going home paid, and then we gotta march and start some nigger organization, march all over the place and pray on it, and lay upon hands on. We're full of shit. And we need to stop it. No, I'm serious. If we're so damn spiritual, how come we getting all of our peanut butter sandwiches? And then, you know, a little girl said to me one time, you know, I was doing that little test about credit, money, and fiat, and she said to me, "Does God have us?" You know, she didn't want to say out loud. She was about 9 years old, and I thought about it. She was so daggone right. I didn't repeat it then because, like, I was thinking, she's the Holy Spirit, you know, because this is the truth. If these guys, all these guys that we claim to be so spiritual, there's two things that have been proven. They either don't like us and help the enemy kick our asses, or they're spies. Because there ain't nothing that been done to help none of us that we can really put on record that's true, that shows a pattern of success. And I challenge any of these so-called scholars, if they're so down with spirituality, so down with knowing ancient Egypt, because ancient Egypt is the capital dominion of the Moroccan Empire, why don't you start restoring the empire and reclaiming these estates for these people?
That's right. Yes. That's right.
You know, but they won't go there. Oh, that's that Moorish stuff. And that's how they come with this stuff. They won't solve a damn thing, but they always talk about ancient Egypt. They're full of shit and they need to be called to the table.
And y'all, I want to thank y'all. Man, give yourselves a round of applause, man. Somebody hit me on Facebook and said, "Where's all the spiritual people at Harvard?" They said, "Why they ain't come back?"
I said, for real?
They said, "Where's all the spiritual opinion
I'll
of
tell
people?"
you where they are. Half of
At
them
25th Street.
is trying to figure out what the so-called
It's right down the street.
Jew that they
On the
don't
corner.
hire to try to save their damn house because they come to take their shit with their own spiritual stuff.
We got to wrap up, y'all. We can start this outside, whatever it is. But I want to thank y'all. Again, I'm going to try to do this like, hopefully every month.
Anyway, thank you all for coming.
Once a month, if I can get back there, we can do it. I'm going to try to do this in every state that I go to. If I can stop in every state once a month, we can make it happen. That's it. I want to thank everybody for coming out. I only have like 2 or 3 other Out of Darknesses, y'all. All right? Thank everybody on Facebook, man. Support.